everybody. Welcome to the Long Play Listening Party. This is Howie from the future. We're just going to drop you into the episode cold this week with Milkdrop and Jet Moran. We took a little break after recording last week's episode about their collaborative EP right away. Go back and listen to that if you haven't. But when I came back, we were just kind of talking about mixing and music and all kinds of different stuff, and it was a really cool sort of behind-the-scenes conversation that we weren't intending to release. But we think it's really great, so we're going to just let you hear that. And then about 15 or 20 minutes in, we actually start listening to Milkdrop's album, Wet Paint, which is the music we're listening to this week, and do kind of our normal episode about that. So you can skip ahead if you want to get straight to the music, but I think especially if you're a musician or an engineer or someone who's interested in some of the creative process, this is a really interesting conversation that we were just having kind of off the cuff. So hope you enjoy it.
Nate, you play that guitar back there, bub?
Sometimes. I mean, I can like play it and edit
Loop
stuff together, but yeah, it's not my first instrument.
I wouldn't know what to do in that studio, but I can't even imagine the wire budget alone. Like that's gotta be astronomical.
Well, you know, you get them, you acquire them over the years.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not terrible, and generally, if they're not going anywhere, they're okay. I had to replace one the other day.
Oh boy!
I don't know why. I don't know what it was doing. I mean, it's just in the back, you know, running into a.
Yeah. But it put a kink in the whole system, huh?
It had me finally like, what the fuck's going on? And then I have to move everything out of the way.
And then it's an electrician's class back there. Milk, what you got? A little dark roast there, bub?
Yeah, you know, all day long. That's all I drink.
Yeah.
I should probably have an IV just connected to me permanently.
Yeah. Hey, man, you gotta talk this time, okay?
Oh, do I?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're gonna talk about my album, not me.
No, you gotta do it, bro.
Oh no!
You said you started making music like 12 years ago, Jet? Is that right?
Yeah, man. Well, jeez. I got out of high school 2007. Went to JUCO 8, 9. Yeah, about 12 years, 13 years. But I started out in Wichita. Like that was kind of where like I first started making music. Like this dude K1, he was kind of big out there whenever I was going to school out there, and I don't know, I just started kind of making beats a little bit, and he would kind of mess with those, and then I was just like, well, I mean, we would just always like write like punch, like in social studies class, we would just write in this one notebook like 4-bar punchlines, boom, 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 and then I passed my notebook to my buddy Jeremy, and then he would just write 4 bars, and we would just be like, all right, that one won, and then you scribble out the other one, and then it was just kind of like, and I think that's why I pretty much now only write in like 4-bar sets, because that's just what I've been conditioned to do. But so I was like, all right, well, I can kind of do that, and then I just kind of started, you know. I eventually started writing for a long time, and then I didn't have the money to go to like any studio. There's no studio out here, so I think I had like the very first like M Audio USB mic ever in existence. I just pretty much like recorded all my own shit. I've never recorded in a studio like ever. Like approaches, I mean, you know, that one's pretty good, but like I've never been to a studio. Everything I've ever done, I've recorded it and mixed it myself. Like I think if I would have focused on one thing, maybe like making beats or mixing or rapping, I probably would have been better off. But you know, I figure why not learn how to do them all? And
you probably wouldn't have been, actually.
It took 12 years, so
nowadays you kind of have to know how to do all that.
Mm.
I think
At least if
it
you
probably makes you more well-rounded too, because you understand things as a producer that give you an advantage as an MC. I know Royce can probably attest to that a lot. Like if I understood, and I do now, but when I first started, if I understood like pockets and where the drums hit and like different things that you can manipulate as a producer, I probably would have been more advanced.
Yeah, I always wished I would have picked up an instrument. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too, man. I played the saxophone in like 7th grade for like, I don't know, 8 weeks, but at that point I was like, I don't know, 5'8", weighed like 100 pounds, and that weighed as much as I did. So carrying that bitch around like to basketball practice, I was like, nah, this ain't it. this ain't it. So I got 8 weeks of learning how to read music under my belt from like 20 years ago. So that's everything else. I just kind of play it by ear.
Man, just pick up a book.
Yeah, YouTube
Man,
University, man. That's pretty
Yeah.
much where I learned everything was YouTube tutorials, watching Kenny Beats, watching The Cave, stealing little tricks from him, and you know, just trying to be good, a little bit good at everything. So I think that's what, that helps with, our system at like Datura. Like we're all able to kind of facilitate our own. I can record anything I need. Milk can record anything he needs, and we can send it to Pro or send it to me, and it's So
So
I guess it worked out.
what's your setup like, Milk?
Mine at home.
Yeah.
I have essentially a fairly large walk-in closet that I converted into a booth, and so it's fully treated with acoustics. And then I have a DBX compressor rack, a Digio 2, and then just a MacBook and I just recently upgraded to a AKG 2040, I think. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
So pretty good mic, pretty warm, pretty bright.
O2 still in the building, bro.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you have?
That's awesome.
I just got like for making beats, I got a MPK 24, so just a little 24 key, and then like a tap pad, and I literally record everything on this microphone. And
I got you.
And I just mix my way out of it. So I mean, it's like like a little pot, like it. Still, like I said, I got that first USB microphone. I mean, I have a Rode NT1, I think.
Oh yeah.
But
Classic.
my interface is, it's janky. So I just went with a quick. I can take this with my laptop. Like I went over and recorded with like Booga and Diddy from Winter Circle. I just pull up on them with my laptop and this microphone, and like we can just knock it out, and
I have that. I have one of those NT1s.
Yeah. It's nice, but I like just messing with the damn interface and all that stuff. I was like, let me just plug and play, man, and then
So, Milk, you're in Pro Tools then, right? Obviously.
I actually, funny enough, I do use Pro Tools. Mostly just because it's the most accessible. Like it just makes things easier to send. But I actually track a lot of the time in super old school Audacity, like the dinosaur of all recording softwares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
No color at all. It's just all white. Everything's all white.
Yeah. Man, yeah, dude, that's like that Windows 95-ish look to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little better now, but
yeah, they finally like allowed you the ability to like port plugins. So I honestly I've been using like even the mix I've been using stock like for probably the last 6 years. Just like compression, EQ, a little bit of amplification, really. But I don't do a lot. Like as far as like a lot of what I do mixing wise is all post. So it's like adding textures and layers and kind of panning. I do a lot of old school parlor tricks, like panning one to the left and pitching it up, and then panning one to the right and pitching it down. So it's like it gives it kind of this just kind of depth without having to like stack 1,000 vocals. I try to keep everything pretty clean and simple, just because. And sometimes I'll even I'll pull away. Like I might record 8 or 10 tracks for a song, and then only keep 4 or only keep 6 or keep like copy and duplicate a main and chop it into like 1,000 pieces. So it sounds like an ad lib, but it's really actually a lead. I just kind of scrunched all the way down with compression. So, but yeah,
got you. All right.
I wish I knew how to do like a lot of things mixing wise.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
it's a trap.
Yeah,
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, like I wish
really
I did,
is.
and like even the terminology, I'm like, I don't know. I turned the knob that way, and it sounds great. So that it works for me. It's like the radio test. Like, okay, perfect, got it.
Today I sent him a song today, and I was just like, hey man, I think I might have put too much like distortion on your vocal or whatever. And then he listened back to it and he goes, I didn't hear it at all, so I think it sounds pretty good. And I was just like, all right, man, it's there. Trust me, it's there.
Well, I mean, really, that's what it ultimately is. It's if it sounds good to you, then and it makes you excited about the song, then that's really all that matters. The only thing that like makes me all paranoid is like, it sounds good to me now, but what about like tomorrow?
Right.
Or what about like next week? Is it still gonna sound like this? Am I still gonna be excited? I'm gonna be like,
nope,
no, man, don't listen to that anymore.
I was pretty blazed when I mixed it last time. I wonder if it's gonna be all right. Yeah. If I listen to it not blazed, is it gonna be good? You know?
That's why you have to listen to music like in all the settings that people listen to music in. So like you listen to it in your car, you listen to it on your phone, you listen to it while you're making dinner, you listen to it while you're in the shower, you listen to it while you're brushing your teeth. And if it all feels good, then you're probably on the right track. That at least that's the practice that I take. And it like
and don't
if I wake up.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. You.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, and if you wake up the next morning, first thing, and you don't hate it, it's probably good.
Yeah, yeah.
My mixing advice would be just close your eyes. Like, don't look at the GUI. Turn the knob, but don't look at the GUI. You know what I'm saying? That's how you'll know if it sounds right to you. If you're looking at it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that sounds better because that looks better. You know what I mean? Like, just don't do that at all. I mean, it's been.
I think.
What are you gonna say?
I think Royce is the first person that taught me that you need to listen to music at its lowest first, and then go up from there. I think a lot of people just turn it up as loud as they can, and they're like, "Oh, this sounds great," because it feels the energy of it feels great, and that's not necessarily a gauge on what it actually sounds like. And so I just remember being in the studio with him and it being like turning the knob all the way down, and then slowly I'm like, that's amazing, because that's how people listen to music. Well, should listen to music. You're not supposed to listen to music at 98 on the dial. Like,
yeah.
But isn't there there's a optimum level to, depending on your room and your space, that you should be listening at, so that like everything is balanced, right? Is that right?
Theoretically, yeah. But you also have to consider that your body can only take so much sound pressure for so long. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like after a while, your ears get fatigued. So all the high frequencies start to roll off, which
Yep.
really starts to mask stuff. Then you start boosting and EQing, and before you know it,
Right.
you wake up tomorrow and you're like, I hate this. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
the
Put
idea is
reverb on that.
right. The idea is to get it set up to where you've got a listening level that's not going to fatigue your ears after like an hour or something, but it's still going to allow you to kind of know how everything feels,
Yeah.
correctly in order to mix it.
And take frequent breaks. The hardest thing with mixing is like you kind of want to muster through, right? Like you're like, I want to get this done. But the reality of it is like the longer you listen to something, the more skewed your perspective is on it because you're thinking about it. Like you don't think about songs when you hear them on the radio. You just listen to them. So take, if you're working for an hour, take a 15-minute break. You know what I mean? And just like Milk was saying, like change your environment and then listen to it. Because once you change your environment, you're casually listening to it. Whereas when you're in the studio, you're studio working. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It helps me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just have to be self-aware of like the nuances of yourself. Like if I mix, there's no way I would make it through an hour mix of anything. Like it's not going to happen for me. Like 15-20 minutes is like my threshold. So it's like I map everything out where I want it to be, kind of the basic levels of everything, and then I save it and move on. Because if I try to smash through it, it's just gonna be. It's gonna sound like I felt that day, which isn't always accurate to how it should sound. Like if I'm in a great mood, it's gonna be bright and warm and super like compressed. And if it's like like making music on a rainy day, it's gonna feel cold and flat. And so I always try to. Because I can go back and like listen to old songs and be like, oh, I was in a really good mood this day because it sounds really warm and bright and like everything is like it's damn near peaking because I was just like, yes, don't turn it down. And so, and then you have to go back in and be like, okay, let me fix this because this sounds terrible.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other trick. Like, just turn everything off and then turn it all back on and see if you still like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that was a whole session right there. There's a
we're keeping all of that.
Clip that, yeah.
No, we're keeping all of that. I'm gonna go. I'll make a little intro by myself later. We're keeping all of that.
Yeah.
And maybe Nate, why don't you? So we're gonna listen to Milkdrop's record, Wet Paint.
Yep.
Nate, why don't you start hitting us with some music and probably just kind of keep it coming pretty consistently.
Okay.
And we'll just enjoy this fantastic record and talk about whatever.
All right, here we go.
I'm still out here trying to give my people hope that seems simple, right? How to show the world greatness, how to make it simple life. Don't waste a second in the verse, no spinning circles in reverse. Keep my circle on the perch, keep the service outside of church. Keep my blessings to myself, letters like an only child. Share my lessons with the you and I, so they know what's felt when the lonely cry. Been on my purpose for all the moments that we chose to smile. I know that the highs are heaven and the lows expose the style. Growth is die without a number, the same as slumber comes from where we watch. Marathon motives come from subtle runs. Every light green we go on the humble and growth, and with a hunger struck. Pray for our pray and take.
Dude, there's like 4 dudes I want to get together and just do a live band and play these songs. So dope.
Who made this beat?
Man, I'd have to look it up. I'm so terrible at like remembering that information because like most of these songs are like 2 years old, and so I recorded probably 100 songs in between when I recorded these songs and when it was actually released. So it's like I should be a lot better about that because crediting people is really important to me, but I'm terrible at remembering producers.
In the notes on Bandcamp, you mentioned that gap as well, the kind of 2-year gap. Do you want to talk about sort of the process behind that?
Sure. So, 2019, I recorded like essentially like 7 albums worth of material, just like within like a 4 or 5 month period. I was just kind of like on a super wave of like inspiration, and so I was just like locked in my studio room, just like making songs all day, go to work, come home, make songs. And so then we released a 3-piece series of EPs in 2020, which was half of kind of that material. And so I still had all these songs left over, and I still have 2 other albums left over from that batch. And so the wet paint kind of came about just like on a whim, really. Like I wish there was a better story, but like I was walking out of my building, and there were some painters, some maintenance painters, and they were at the door. They had left behind this big roll of caution wet paint tape, which is what the cover image is literally just me walking by and being like, oh, that's tight, and taking a picture.
Right, yeah.
But they had forgot to put it on the actual door. And so I was like, immediately I was like, that's exactly what we do as creatives. We just like throw it at the wall over and over and over and over and over again until something sticks. And so these songs are basically like me going through the old files and being like, I wonder if there's anything good in here, and then realizing like some of these songs aren't bad, and so then I just kind of sequence them and put them together, and then it kind of just came out cohesive.
Can you come dig through my hard drives?
Yeah. Come take a batch for me.
There's probably some of my songs on your hard drive, ironically. 10 years.
I'm sure. How did you say that?
This is my favorite song on the whole thing, but I'm biased, you know.
Yes, this is featuring you, right?
Yeah.
And you guys released this as a single, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess at this point, really it's just second nature. 2 hands up on the saber, patience thin as razors. My mind slow from the side effects of all my vices. Flavor, I'm just searching for enlightenment before picking my.
All right, so this one was produced by B. Young.
Shit been on the up and up, Mr.
Right.
Double cups, my liver.
That's right, yeah. I'm glad you pulled the credits up, because I would have been all record long.
I survived the battle. Sunken ships from loose lips, grown men just lived to tattle. Like this the 5th grade, we cool you click with quick shade. My level's uncontested, I wrote this shit on a sick day. Shout to sick days, if we talking kings though. Mindset stuck on Mamba, bet 50K on this free throw. Invest that shit back in myself, they fuck once I go reload. Big dog on the block now, I move around like I'm Debo. Probably shouldn't keep going, but I'm kinda in the zone now. Finally pick myself up, so I don't plan to fold now. I plan to go crayon everything I hold down. Sit back and wait.
Melka, where do songs start for you? I mean, Jet was talking earlier about the 4-line punchlines and things, and where do you start to write when you want to write?
generally it's stream of conscious. I think every song for me probably starts different. I think sometimes it may start with the melody, and then build from there. I think some other times it's just 6 or 8 bars at a time, and then kind of build it out over a couple days. Some days I may, like a lot of these songs, I probably wrote like 4 or 5 songs in a day and recorded them and pre-mixed them. So it's just, I try to kind of just gauge it on how I feel. So there may be days where I only make 1 song. There may be days where I make 5 songs. It just kind of depends on the wave of inspiration I'm allowing to hit me at that time.
Yeah, I think those 5-song days happen more often than the 1-song days, though. I think with you, my friend, you just knock them out. Yeah,
they used to, for sure.
But like the way that I always said that, like talking about Milk's writing style is like he writes, you know, like he raps like he's left-handed, you know, like it's always like his cadence is like, I mean, I've dissected Wet Paint album and like his like different cadences and like how he's like somehow in a pocket, but like the rhyme scheme is like gonna roll out of that set, and like it's next level, man. So for him to just be like do that 5 times in a day, like 3/16s, you know, like it's insane, man. Like,
yeah, I think I have more of like a saxophone player pocket, like a jazz pocket. And so historically hip hop is like everything hits on the 2 and 4, and mine is kind of like 1, 3, and 5. So the 4th bar is kind of syncopated into the 1st bar, the next couplet.
Yeah.
That's the best way I know to kind of explain it.
Yeah, it just makes transitions like crazy.
I mean, it's for sure one of the most unique rappers that I've heard. Like, I say just at any point, like I'm not, you know, I'm saying like it's very unusual, but it's very, very good and unique. If that makes sense.
Exaggerating the problem, but that's the game. They at the store, be sure that
when you say pre-mix, are you saying like you just giving the engineer an idea of what you're thinking for your vocals, or what do you mean by pre-mix your vocals?
So to me, well, for the most part, probably since 2016 or so, I've been mixing all of my own records. So to me, pre-mix is just like the basic stuff, like your compression, your EQ, your amplification. So just like kind of laying it out. So you have all of the pieces there. Mixing for me is you know, fine tuning everything and running it through an extra compressor or extra EQ, and so to make it tighter. And then, like I mentioned before, I do a lot of kind of post things that are more probably on the production side than the engineer side, like moving things, moving vocals around and arranging things and kind of painting and adding kind of textures and things like that to it. So for me, pre-mix is just like, it's like the warm-up lap, basically. Like,
it's dope. It's like your guitar sound. You know what I mean? I get it.
I like that kind of process too. I'm always kind of rough mixing as I go because that helps me know what else I need to do. You know, sometimes there's obvious gaps that I know I'm going to put an instrument or something, but sometimes Sometimes there's gaps or sections where it's like, well, does this really need something, or is it fine? And having a rough mix in place, maybe compress it a little, can really help me decide, yeah, it's good to go, or no, I need to put something there.
Yeah, I think most people are more inclined to fill space instead of leaving it open. And so yeah, for me that's like, I break it up so that I don't overkill, you know, what I'm doing. Like, let's cover every second of this, and it's like then you have to go back in and strip it all away. I'd rather have it open from the beginning so that I know visually and sonically I can hear it and see it. Like, okay, leave that open, leave that open, leave that open.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that space is part of what makes this record and a lot of your other records just such a welcoming place to spend some time, right? Like, you just want to come in and put the headphones on and spend some time in this space because it feels really good.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things I was taught early from a lot of different people is like, you need to allow the music to be the music. And so I think for the hip hop that I make, it's boom bap, it's jazz kind of samples, it's kind of dusty. And so it already kind of feels that way to me anyways. And so I try to like make my music feel like you walk into a jazz lounge and, you know, and everybody's just kind of relaxing while everyone's, you know, enjoying the ambience of it. Because I try to make, because the content in my music is kind of sometimes so heavy, I don't want it to be like an overwhelming experience. Because when I was young and I first started, I was just like, I don't care. I'm going to make this as deep and intricate. And if they don't get it, they don't get it, which is cool. But like, you want people to listen to your music and enjoy it. So it's like, you have to make it palatable. You have to make it palatable for people at some point. Otherwise, people are going to be like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
I was going to ask Milk, like, so how do you pick your beats? Like, do you make your own beats, or because I mean, there's a couple producers, like there's a couple songs in the beginning of this record that have info with producers, but then there's no info on the rest of them. So do you make your own beats, or are you like picking those out and like just kind of stacking them? And
yeah, I've made maybe 2 beats in the history of my music career. And they were on the Levermore story, and they're more like score soundtrack type sounds. So no, I don't make any of my beats. For the most part, I just kind of have like an old school approach to finding producers, like just like sign up for 1 million mailing lists. And so for probably the last like decade, I've always had beats in my inbox like every week, 2 or 3 different times, and then from there I just kind of shuffle through and see what grabs me. Usually if a beat doesn't, like, if I don't immediately have like a melody or 4 bars, like right as soon as the, you know, the snare or the kick hits, then I just move on from it. If it grabs me, then I pull it off and go from there. I still have.
You always write to a beat?
I do. I used to write to air a lot.
I know that.
And, right. Yeah, I stopped doing that probably like 2013, and since then, like,
I heard a lot of men say
I was
they
able to
about
find
do,
different
never
pockets,
came true.
and so
My
I
soul
always
ingrained
just
next
stuck
the
to that
base where the
because
flames grew.
it worked.
Next to stage, this ain't no last hurrah. I
It's
keep
very
it
rare
close
that I
and
write
run street with a cast
without
of dogs.
sound
Still a
these
smooth
days.
with it.
Maybe
Got
like
that 92 vision.
4 or
Got us
6
off with
bars
the
on like
sorrow,
lunch
ruthless
break,
with the truth penny.
like real
My
quick on my
father
phone,
raised
like.
me to uphold my script. Stand the words that I've told my
But yeah,
put up my fist for recalls and sometimes
I don't think I've written to like air in probably like
so I'm at my address
over 10 years for sure.
Same dude, just now all
That
these
was the
still got the love rate for those with the weight.
Poet's Pen or something like that. That was that record.
Poet at Heart.
Poet at Heart.
Poet at Heart, yeah.
Yeah.
Down the strip, though I still know all these hairs are gonna be the first to trip. We've been doing this too long to act like it's time to move on, y'all.
This is one of my favorites, man. This is one of my favorites.
We've been doing this too long.
Oh, we'll be performing this on Saturday as well, I believe. So Milk's gonna rip this one.
What's the date on that?
April 9th, Saturday at the Bottleneck.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Saturday at the Bottleneck. Who's all on that bill?
We have here is a division.
Steady P.
That's
Booger Bang,
right. Okay.
Bop.
And in fact,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a heavy show, man.
you find your mix ratio across the top.
So we'll put a link to that in the previous episode because by the time people hear this, it will be after the show.
Oh yeah.
2 to 1, 2 to 1, 2 to 1.
Hope y'all
One of my
enjoyed the
favorite
show.
things. Yeah. The little audio clips in between everything was one of my favorite things about the wet paint thing. You know, like the mix ratio of the paint and everything like that. That was something that I thought was pretty cool. You know, like how he kind of blended that in with, you know, the intros and outros of songs.
It's like, yeah, kept the theme like woven throughout.
Yeah.
On the lateral, feeling you and I's on sabbatical. I'm still here writing.
What's this song that we're listening to now?
Hawk Hard.
Never concerned rivaling this herb. Hand in hand to the inner long scriptures. Get jammed inside the system. Prophetic to burn the candle in the winter. To burn my turn at the bend of my
Milk, was the stuff on like 38, was that from that same kind of explosion of creativity a couple years ago?
For the most part, yeah. I think I want to say the turn of 2020. I challenged myself to like make a song a day for 20 days, and I think a couple of those came from that batch. But
Okay.
for the most part, yeah.
It seems my season will arrive again. The story foretold in the
I always try to like. It's always better to have more songs than none. So I always take all of those batches and keep them so that I can go back through and be like, if we need a release, then I can piece together, or you know, 12 songs I can split in two and piece together. So
we gon' talk harder and work harder. Roll out the red carpet. We gon' roll out the red carpet. We gon' talk harder and work harder. Roll out the red carpet. We gon', yeah.
Boy singing on that one, huh?
kind of.
I love it.
A little bit.
I love it.
Almost reminds me of Miles Bonney a little bit. I mean,
I'll
it's a
take
little
it.
different, but like I hear a little of that in there.
I love that shit. So sprinkled.
You gotta walk her to the car.
Nate, do you play on this one anywhere?
No.
Roll out the red carpet. We gon' talk harder, walk harder, roll out the red carpet.
One of these days, I'm gonna sneak a track into, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, this is Nate's track." It'll be a Legal Marshall track. One of these
Oh
days.
yeah. Hey man, I'm swinging for the same goal, brother. I've been trying to get in on that Lincoln Marshall, man. Man. Approach has got that locked up though.
I was just saying, I don't have anything to do with that.
He just flat out just was like, nah. He was just like, nah.
Best of luck.
I was like, damn.
The same planet that you orbit. Don't see a future in exchanging eyes on these lines. It's you or it's me, and I got so many more sunsets to see. Please forgive while I hold tight the mind. So let the vibe commence. So full off this soul food, I'ma pull it heartstrings without the violin. Paint the picture, secure my vision without eliciting a mighty lens. I see it so clear and still I let them steal home. My palms are candid, holding on to answers. You can feel strong and learn how to dice the onions when you peel off the structure. Cause I'd be nothing if I seal gauze just to protect you from the moments when the glue loses its clutch. Cause my you need to eat sounds more like what are you doing for lunch? Voice it pure, but ultimately the choice is yours.
So tell us about the title of this song.
I'm pulling up if time is what you ask for.
What is the title of this song?
Is it Ventolin?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, Ventolin.
Ventolin. Okay, so short story short is Ventolin is a prescription drug for asthma, and the song is like I think it's like a 32 or a 48 bar rush. Like there's no hook. So at the beginning of this song I said, if I can't rap it, I can't rap it. And so it's like me saying like, I'm gonna get through this whole thing or I'm not. And so that's where the title comes in basically. It's like breath control. It's a reference to breath control, like because we always
shit or have an asthma attack.
Right. And so
no, I like that, man. Like if I can't rap it, I can't rap it. Like that's a creed of mine. So I respect
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, we the MCs that come from our generation, that's kind of what we live and die by. It's like
the guys getting ready to go on Medicare. I get you.
Right. I'm not punching in. Like if I
No.
I should have wrote it that way then. Oh well.
Yeah.
Never been mandated, that'll give truth. I put it just under the snare within the fixed loop. Okay. Produce for how I produce fresh fruit for the less tooth. Been a part of the best troops assembled. A collection of great centered in the representative stage of life and all the lessons we transgressed to transfer to the center of the page. Suffocate the room with the soul, the punchline for how the speakers bleed. Which is funny, cause sometimes on runs I just need to breathe. Just a nudge of space to let the meter peak. So as the sequence read, we've all got a lot of prequels on our prefixes. As the season stream, all the cycles stem to blend within the leaves that crop for seeing beams.
Milk, I love how you use space, and it kind of goes back to that saxophone thing and the timing, but like
I would have got over my fear of abandonment long ago.
I love that you'll just let a beat or two kind of go by and don't feel any rush to fill it up, you know?
I think that's something
sitting right here.
It definitely comes with time and understanding music and what music does for people. I also think like I think a lot of MCs don't understand tonality, and so like everything, especially in hip hop, because it's like everything has to be super aggressive the whole way through, and it's like it doesn't, because I feel that way throughout the whole song. You wrote it, and so I try to like let things build naturally, and then, you know, just like on this song, and when the drums come in, and then
And of
you
course,
know,
always
it picks up.
blend your components before you pour it into the cup. Now, if you're working on an all-over paint
You think
job
that's
or a larger project, well, there's larger tubs. Again, all the mixing ratios.
beauty of the era that we came from? Because like hip hop had a lot of lanes when we were kind of coming up, and like now there's like fewer lanes. At least it seems to me. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
there are
like you read the book from left to right.
specific. Like I remember, if you had a style that was similar to anybody else's, that was whack. You know what I'm saying? And like now it's like, if you're not on that same wave, you know what I mean, then that's whack, or whatever the lingo is nowadays. Do you think that comes that like a lingering effect from that era, that you approach it that way?
I don't think I think subconsciously for sure. It's just kind of ingrained in me to like be authentic more than like have my own style. It's just like, this is who I am. This just happens to be the way that I perform. And so, yeah, for sure. I think also age and maturity, I think, has a lot to do with that. Like you the older you get, the more you figure out about yourself, and so those things kind of naturally come about. Like I'm emotionally intelligent, so I understand how to like put those pieces together in a song, as opposed to like when I'm young and energetic and I want to record 1,000 songs a day. It's like I'm just doing it because there's some sort of gratification coming from it, as opposed to like now knowing that music, at least the hope is that the music you make has a purpose greater than yourself. And so
see, it was never my intention to center indifference, just my loyalty change from those I love. Started acting like I never existed. Director's cut, I'm still on the set without a call time that the selections rescinded. So blame my loss on those walk-bys when you mention my pivots. To cut off quicker these days than the sentence is given. Forgiveness permitted, it's just my memories written in the blood. Once squeezed the palms, till I carry my cross against beliefs to show the road to hope. Repeated thoughts gone black while attached to lighter hues, cause I've been ice cold next to those who wouldn't choose to lend a fire through. I hope they never asked for me to play the songs I made in my.
So outside of the music, what's your role at Datura?
So essentially, I hold this creative director, which essentially is I'm in charge of the visual aspects of everything. So branding, all of the cover art, all the visuals, all the promotional kind of digital marketing tools and assets that we use. For now, I'm designing everything. Hopefully, at some point, it will be more of a, here, make it look this way, and we can develop a team that'll work under me and with me. But for now, it's essentially me making all of the art that you see.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been kind of a freelance graphic designer since like 2011. Just kind of out of necessity, like I couldn't afford to pay anybody, so just like how we learn to do anything, really. It's like, I don't know, I can't afford to go to the studio, I gotta learn how to mix.
Yeah.
Hey, truth be told, man, that's how I got into engineering. I was like, there was this studio downtown. I had made this record, and I went down there to see how much it was going to cost to record it, and I was like, shit, I might as well go to school for engineering. At least then I'll know how to do it, because I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
And we we sing a song that never seems to end. And we play a role we never thought we'd ever get. And every night ends.
He's still singing, man.
Coconut,
This is actually probably my favorite song on the whole thing. Like,
Now, man,
Wow.
it's got a different feel for sure.
I might say it like 3 other times as we get past this one, but I think this one's my favorite one.
You said 3 times already, I think.
Yeah, I think this one's my favorite one. Like I said, I've dissected this thing, man. I've been in the bones of it. I got the stems for it. I've broke it down.
And this was October of last year?
It was released October of last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Jet, what'd you learn from the stems, or what like jumped out at you?
Well, I noticed that I don't know how much I could actually talk about it. I don't know, you know.
I can say it. I can mute it if it's not cool.
I'm actually doing a remix of this album. I'm gonna make a whole new set of beats for like 9 or 10 of these songs, and so Milk sent me over all the stems and everything for it. And one thing that I learned is that there's nobody more true to tempo than Milk. Like if he says that it's 90, I could put anything 90 BPM under it, and he hits the pocket in any drum cadence that I put into it, it still hits it every single way. Like with what I'm doing with this project, like the remix project of it is like I'm not putting a lot of drums on it, because I feel like on this project Milk just says so much crazy stuff like that, like I really want like that to be the forefront of what is, you know, the vibe that I'm putting onto it, you know. Like I don't know, I'm biased, but I think my beats were just kind of made for this guy, and you know, so my style is just like we just sync well, and I said let me get at him, and the reason why I said that was my favorite is because like listening to it over and over again, like remixing it or whatever, like he's talking about, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's him and the lady, and you know everything is good, and it's like, you know, it's a really dope thing, because for a long time Milk has made a lot of, you know, poetic, heartfelt, somber music, you know, and on Wet Paint I really felt like, listening to it as deep as I did, that this was kind of like a project where Milk is kind of like, hey, I kind of am brought to fruition everything that I've been talking about all these years. You know, I've got the great wife, I've got the family, you know, we got, you know, he's completed everything that he's been writing about for, you know, years and years, since Poet at Heart, you know. And it's like, that's why I really like this project a lot, was because it was like he didn't feel like an underdog anymore, you know. This was the one where he was just kind of like, hey, you know, I got, you know, I can just flex now, you know. I finally got it all. I can just flex now, you know, and that's why I really liked it.
They're looking at me like I ain't tell them God could do. I never cared much for popular thoughts, vernacular less practical in my ocular stock for the wide views. Found my calling in the night hills, the right tone of life use. My dreams are high beams, follow my lead out of the dim. Sun never needed to shine, I see time as an hour eclipse. Big picture was in thin scripture.
Yeah, man. It's fun to listen to, man. Because it's not just, you know, at the bars.
I'm at my illest when death's given. It's not a figurative phrase.
It's like this, and it just kind of floats over, like it just keeps you moving forward, you know?
Yeah, with having the stems, you know, that's like what we were talking about earlier. Like he raps left-handed, and like even if, like, you know how he, like we were saying, he rolls into the 5 a lot, you know, and it's like even if I put like a real lame 4/4 on it, it's still in time, always, every single time. He's never off time. It's like the man has a built-in metronome, and it was tight. I was impressed, I guess. I was impressed. Yeah. I was impressed. I think the kid's got a hell of a future ahead of him, you know? He's got a hell of a future ahead of him.
I'm exactly who I need to be. God gave me the hands to write and the eyes to see, and this heart that beats. God gave me these hands to write.
Are you performing this Saturday?
Eyes to see, and this heart that beats.
Oh, I don't hear you, bro.
It's an easy.
Got hit by the tech ghost.
Exactly who I need to be.
But as far as you know, Jet, you guys are doing Right Away.
Yeah, we're gonna do. Yeah, we did Right Away.
Yeah.
You know, we did Right Away.
Catch my brother.
Yeah, and I think Milk is actually gonna do one of the remix joints from like Wet Paint. I think he's gonna do Move On. I think so. We're gonna debut one of them beats for the show, and
that's dope.
And then you might have enjoyed maybe the surprise Lincoln Marshall performance in the middle of the set too. You probably enjoyed that as well. That would be my guess. His approach jumped over the DJ booth and grabbed my microphone, and then it got real in there.
Bottleneck, right?
Yep. Word. Bottleneck. We tore it up.
I was glad that I could make it, man.
Yeah, man. I was good to see you there, bro. It was good to meet you, you know?
Gathered out the mud, south side off the porch running. Spent my life standing tall, so excuse if I don't feel guilty about your shortcomings. Taught to only speak on what I know, we check the source humbly. So if I don't know, you know the end reports coming. Trained to rely on exchange upon the signs. The only time I read between the lines is with handshakes and the pain.
Milk, say something. We might have you back.
Hello again.
There you are.
There you are. All right.
We can see our proximity.
All right.
Because if I've been surrounded by the real, then I can't believe that you arrived.
He's talking about just how great the show was.
Maybe you just weren't talking hard enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we're talking about how great the show went on Saturday at the Bottleneck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, I was so happy that I made it.
Gotta hear some unreleased stuff. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a song. We did a song from the second EP as well. So
that's what's up.
If y'all missed that, you missed out.
Yeah, that went well.
They wondering if it came to the day that I went silent. Spent stylish, it wouldn't fit over the fringe of this writer's hand while my eyes dilated wider to the expanse of this higher plan. The files crammed with the piles of life that strive to find advance. Ask God.
This is what the illest verses on the whole thing, man.
Water for boarding, ordered flights to France with no time to fight for the night lines to find a lively chance. My soul with a shine, we now show to the blind as the finals ran. I've learned to pause. Homecoming, don't come to the ball till it's time to dance. They told me it's time again to bring those quotes through. Don't you know I've been standing still just to see how hope moves. I hope you come to know real ones all on one accord. You don't get awards for what adults do. Instead of burning, you should be learning from where the smoke moves.
You and your grown folks, huh?
Yeah. That was definitely what I was feeling when I wrote this song. Was like, I can't remember exactly the life event I was going through, but it was just like one of those situations where like you just you can't directly speak to the people you want to, but so you put it in a song and hope it reaches them.
As always, get in touch with us on
and so yeah, that was definitely like
Drop us a line. Send us an email. Drop us a line.
Be a Man. That's like the Be the Man song. Like, be accountable and be responsible and stick to the say song without being like overtly like, because I hate like songs that are divisive in order to like get a point across. It's like, I don't have to break you down as a man to tell you the things that you need to do. I can tell you the things you need to do and empower you to do them. And so that's kind of what that song is like me saying, like the line, like, you don't get awards for what adults do. Like, do what you're supposed to do because you're supposed to do it.
Well, that was the last one, right?
Was it?
Story Within. I think it is the last one. Yeah.
Oh, that was Story Within? Man.
Yeah.
I missed Easy Read. Easy Read was such an easy read. I missed it.
I think that fell through the tech ghost got us on that one.
That's probably what it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's what was playing. We can hear it again. Not a problem.
It'll be in the show.
Yeah, and I'll hear
It'll be
it
in the show. We're not going to skip it.
Yeah.
We'll just have a nice listen.
That's another one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, 14 favorites.
Yep, 14
on a 13-track album.
13
Yo, so how does it feel to hear your record back with a close personal audience? Does it feel different?
Absolutely. I think the funny thing about like being so long in your tenure making music, it's like a lot of the time like you don't get a lot of feedback because people just have this expectation. It's like, this is going to be good. I don't need to tell them that it's good. I'm at a point where I need validation from anyone, but like I literally do not hear anything from people other than like a few close people anymore. Everyone else just like enjoys it and it is what it is, which is not a bad thing at all, but it's just like it's good to hear like directly from people how they felt or what they got from a record. Point. But yeah, different because a lot of the time I just kind of make the music, release it, and like this record, I probably haven't listened to this record in it's 8 months. Like, it's been a really long time since I listened to this record, just because a lot of the time too, like, because I mix the music, which I think probably going forward I'm going to take a step away from. When I mix it, I don't necessarily want to hear it for a while.
I hear you.
know, like
I hear you.
Like my ears are burnt, and so like I don't want to necessarily hear it. So I don't necessarily enjoy my own music. Like, I know a lot of people like listen back to their stuff all the time and like to see like their progression, but it's been a really long time since I was like playing my own record like every day in the car. It doesn't happen. So yeah, it is interesting to kind of get to hear what people think directly, because a lot of the time, especially with this digital world that we live in now, it's like you don't get that like record store, hey man, you're the one who released that record in October of last year. I remember it, I enjoyed it, and get to shake their hand and like how it was back in the day. And so yeah, for sure it's different and welcomed.
Yeah, listeners, tell the musicians in your life what you think of their records, and and be specific. Tell them what it feels like to you, or which song you love, or whatever thoughts you have. Because you think that other people say it, but like everyone's thinking that somebody else is saying it, and so like Milk is saying, like very little actually filters through. So it means a lot when people stop and say something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, even people that you know you love and love you back, you know, like think that other people are telling you that, like, hey man, that was great, and or assume that you know that and it's true that you love each other back, but you know, if it's not expressed when you've created something and shared it, you know, if you feel like expressing that to someone, I think it's a good thing. You should have never passed that opportunity up.
The best form of expression is buy their records.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's number one for sure.
That too.
Buy the record. You can stream it on that shitty Spotify if you want to, but buy that record. It will sound way better. I promise you.
Bandcamp, where they get
Yeah.
Get the merch bundle.
most of
You can wear the shirt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
wear
they
the
get the
shirt.
most money from each
And it
sale.
sounds better. It sounds
It's
better.
cheaper. It's cheaper and it sounds better.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a link to where you can buy wet paint in the show notes. It's daturarecords.bandcamp.com. So definitely go there and check that out. I did myself. You can see my little profile pic on the wet paint Bandcamp page.
Oh yeah, thank you.
It's funny because like I remember, like Bandcamp. Honestly, it used to be pretty terrible. Like the interface, like especially with a mobile device. Like I used to tell people all the time, like, man, I want to buy your record, but I cannot figure out how to do it on this terrible website. But they made an app, and it's so much easier. Like I buy stuff all the time now, even records I'm not necessarily going to listen to, but like just to support artists that I care about. And yeah, I tell people all the time, like, just download the app. It's literally all right there. Everything you've ever bought.
Yeah, and I think now they even have it where you can put stuff in your playlist, and you can stream it and randomize it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, we might do a show on that, or I might do like a little reel, real quick, to explain, because, that is a hurdle, because it's not a Spotify, it's not an Apple Music, but you can still search for, any type of music you want to listen to and find it. It's just a little less convenient sometimes, but
you can own it.
But you can own it. You can own the the high quality files, and I think it's going to keep hopefully getting a little better and easier to use and more accessible for people that don't necessarily like it right now, even though it's improved quite a bit.
Can you do FLAC files on Bandcamp? Does anybody know? You can?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, man. Come on. That's what's up.
Get the flax.
You're a FLAC man?
I am, man. I am. I like my shit to sound good. Like I spend a lot of money to be able to listen to music that sounds good. And I have AB'd all of the streaming services. Spotify is the worst. Just in case you were wondering, it's the worst. It's terrible. And they don't pay us anything. So stop fucking getting their subscriptions. Stop fucking with Spotify. They're junk. But Bandcamp and Apple Music and Pandora, that shit sounds
great. You
great.
heard it here first, folks. Down with Spotify.
Man, I don't have no love for Spotify. They tell you that our music ain't worth shit while they make billions. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm not with that at all. But that's what's up. Yeah, FLAC. I see it right there. Get the FLAC files.
Mm-hmm.
Luxuriate in them.
Yeah,
that was a very passionate transition.
Yeah. I think that was the most fired up I've seen you all night. That was good.
Black files to the overthrow of Spotify.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds or less. I like
it. That's what happens. That's what happens out here, man.
Hey, if you love music, support it. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, Milk, did we miss anything on Wet Paint that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Very cool. Well, it's been a pleasure having you. I love the album. I've listened to it 1,000 times. We obviously know, Jet's told us how much he loves it and what he's working on. So that's super cool. We're looking forward to that. All the links are in the notes, and it's been great having you guys on. We really appreciate you, and really appreciate your music.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
This is the first time I've ever done a interview type situation, and this was chill. This was dope, boys, and I appreciate you having us on. All right. This is the thing. It's like he's like, I've been doing this, and all this is new to me, man. This is all new to me.
No, man, it was great, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And we appreciate you talking about the record because I know how personal it is, and a lot of times it's really hard to talk about that. But I hope that it was in some way was a positive thing and cathartic, and then I love that record too. Even whether or not I was on it or not, I would have loved it.
The first time I've talked about that as well, so I appreciate you fellas a lot for having us on, man. It was a great time.
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah. For number 2.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the second one.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's been the Long Play listening party. Later, everybody.
Peace.